Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of r/malicious compliance. In today's episode, are you sure you want me to get rid of my server that you use daily? Have fun dealing with the aftermath. Long. You want your money back on this item that is selling for 10 times what you are paying for, and you demand it now. Sounds good. Change me from hourly to salary to cut my pay. Okay. Before we get started, make sure to subscribe so you will never miss a video. So let's get started. Are you sure you want me to get rid of my server that you use daily? Have fun dealing with the aftermath. Long. Guy improves workplace efficiency and all is good. New management and corporate policy doesn't like the efficient way of helping customers, so they disband it. 24 hours later, the blowback from decommissioned software has now affected business negatively. All could have been avoided if they continued to do what's best for the customer. Thank you /you/Reddit for the summary. I'm going to use it if you don't mind. Story. I worked for a large consumer electronics retailer for many years as technical support. I was also in charge of all of the internal devices and computers employees used at my location. Not the computers that were on demo for customers to use, comes into play later. The retail stores offered technical support for computers and mobile devices. Now for technical support, there were 2 laptops that I was authorized to configure for use by technicians, load useful software, and allow admin privileges. One such useful tool is called RecBoot. This application was freeware. I checked the license, and not an internal tool. Back in the days when iDevices had a physical home button, to put the device in recovery mode, the home and power button would need to be pressed. RecBoot allowed a connected device to be put in recovery mode by clicking the recovery mode button. Easy and simple. A lot of devices had this home button stop working. When you were able to access the device, assistive touch could be used for a virtual home button. If the device passcode was forgotten or too many attempts were made and the device was permanently locked, a restore was needed. To do this, the device must be put in recovery mode. Important for later. 2 laptops with sometimes dozens of customers looking for support and needing to restore iDevices or reset account passwords was not great. Obviously, customers would get impatient having to wait longer for support. This was brought up to management. Their solution: well, there are tons of demo computers, connect the devices and do restores from them. There you go, Bob's your uncle. These demo computers were loaded with a demo image and configured that any changes made would be reverted when the computer was restarted. Also, the admin password was a guarded secret. I had the password but was definitely not allowed to share it. To run RecBoot after it had been downloaded from the internet required the admin password. So it only worked for restores. So to do a restore, each demo computer would have to download the restore image, many GB of download, and it would take 20+ minutes just to download one, not even complete a restore. Each device model would need a specific restore image. You can imagine this was not ideal, but to management, hey, it works, problem solved. What I started doing was I would unfreeze a few computers, transfer all of the needed restore images onto them from a local server, and freeze them again. I would also transfer RecBoot, launch it, enter the admin password so it wouldn't require it again later. This server was on the public network and therefore was not managed by the remote IT team as an internal computer and had no corporate policies installed. There was no confidential information on it. I had passed this by the appropriate channels and was given some guidelines to follow. If all was followed, I was allowed to have the server running. Everyone seemed to think it was a great idea, and it really helped. It was a lot of upkeep. Every time a new software update was released, I would have to unfreeze, transfer, and then refreeze the computers. If a new demo image was installed on the computers, I would have to redo it as well. It would take a few hours to get done. I was happy to do it. It saved a lot of time in the end, and we were able to offer better service to customers. Well, the person in charge of the demo computers did not like it. Apparently corporate didn't either. I was told I could not modify the demo computers in any way. I came up with a solution. With the server already running, I would share the logins with the technical support team. I could grant admin access on the server, they could run the tools needed, more specifically RecBoot, and should a restore image be needed, they could transfer it locally over the network to the demo computer they were using, much faster. All was well until we got a new lead technician. Jeb. Now, unlike other stories, Jeb was not an external hire, but a technician who had been promoted. We had worked together for a few years at this point, and he was actually a decent guy. I'm not sure if the power went to his head, he just wanted to impress upper management, or if he was being pressured by management, but after being promoted he became a different person. Suddenly he was the boss and things were done his way, and that was that. During a physical inventory of the store, it was noted that my server was not a managed internal server, nor was it a demo unit for customers. As such, it needed to be decommissioned and the hardware returned to the warehouse. Jeb brings this to my attention as I am the one who takes care of internal devices. He asks that I make it gone by the end of the next day. I pointed out that I had followed the guidelines and that he knew full well how useful this was. I brought up that it would impact his metrics on customer wait time and satisfaction. Something I'm sure he was hoping to improve. He wouldn't have it. He cited that any computer on the network needed to be managed and my server was no longer approved. He also let me know that the 2 laptops that were being used by the technicians were going to have an image installed on them and now be managed units. I tried to argue, at least for my server, and he threatened to write me up. Alright, I'll let you dig your own grave. He also sent out an email to the whole technical support team pretty much forbidding the use of any non-approved software. I wiped my server and sent it back to the warehouse. Without my server and now the 2 laptops being managed, no one had an admin password, except me, and the IT team, who was remote, and tickets were usually only responded to in 24 to 48 hours, but being managed, no unapproved software could be installed anyways. Cue the next night, first day without the server, when I get a call from Jeb in a panic, asking how he could get RecBoot working, and he really needed it. I had the pleasure of telling him that the server was gone and no unapproved software could be installed. As per company policy, the admin password could not be provided unless a ticket was opened with IT and his need for it was approved. Which was likely to take a few days, if it was even approved. Turns out a customer started throwing a fit. Not only one but multiple people over the course of the day, and each time it was escalated to him to deal with. Each time having my server would have put a swift end to the problem. This particular customer had an iPhone that was about 1.5 years, only 1 year of warranty, and the home button stopped working. They had been in previously and were given the options of the virtual home button, free, paying for a replacement phone, a few $100s, or buying a brand new phone. Repairing the home button was not a repair offered. They had opted for the free option. This time the customer's kid had played with the phone, entered the passcode wrong, and the phone was disabled. Of course, the customer doesn't have iCloud set up or a recent backup. So no remote wipe and no way of backing up the info. To top it off, they would have to spend hundreds of dollars for a replacement phone or buy a brand new one. Having had the phone less than 2 years, their phone contract was not up for renewal with their cell phone provider. Needless to say, the customer was pissed. After that day, customer satisfaction and wait times tanked. He had to deal with a lot more escalations. He definitely was not looking good in the eyes of management. After a few months, he was demoted back to technician. I didn't advocate to bring my solutions back. I left the company shortly after. You want your money back on this item that is selling for 10 times what you are paying for, and you demand it now. Sounds good. I run an anime/geek store, and we are really lenient with pre-orders. We used to not require a deposit to make an order, and in case you needed more time to pick up an item, all you had to do was ask. We could also hold the items for as long as needed in our storage, if you wanted to gather a lot of items, so you could save on trips/shipping. Back on February, Funko released a special edition vinyl pop of Naruto Hokage. This one in particular had a 1 in 6 chase variant that ended reaching up to a resale value of $130. But the way I do pre-orders is that, if you order 6 of the same piece, you are guaranteed a chase. But if you only order 1, you still get a 1 in 6 chance of getting the chase. I just mix them up in random boxes and do a public stream raffle on social media, so everyone knows who won the chase, and I get good publicity that way. A client ordered just 1 and left $5 as deposit. The piece was $15. This particular client won the riffle, along several other clients, but he wasn't that interested in picking it up or paying for the rest of it. I sent him a message letting him know that he had won the special variant and had a week to pay it or he will lose his pre-order. At first he was angry because he wanted the normal version, no this yellow thing, but we explained we could change it if he wanted, but that this one was far more valuable. He said he asked his son and his son wanted it anyway, but asked for more time to pay, so we gave him one more week. Then he asked for another week. And another. Then we had to close the store for a time for, 2020 reasons, and we told him we had to close, but we could still schedule an appointment to give him his item or wait until the worst passed. He never answered. Eventually we were able to reopen the store with regulations in place, and send him another message telling him we can save it for as long as needed in this strange times. He still didn't answer the messages, but at this point he arrived at the store and demanded for his money back, citing how we were on the middle of what was going on, fair, and he couldn't waste money on frivolous plastic, also fair. I asked him if he was sure, and even showed him the price the figure was selling for. At that point in time the Chase figure was selling closer to $150, and he just had to pay retail price, so about $10 more for it. He said he was sure I had made up the numbers, that he had ordered the figure for his son, but he didn't deserve it, harsh, and just demanded his money back. I just said fine, I'll give you your money back. Also, I'll just put this figure out for sale. He just said whatever, just give me my money. I made a point to grab a post-it note that I used to put prices to not damage the box, write in big black letters $90 bucks, last one, and put it on the glass window that leads to the street. I could see him turn his eyes while I did this. While my employee was giving him his $5 back and giving him a receipt, a young man knocked the door. I gave him some cleaning goo, checked his temperature, and let him in. He immediately asked to buy the Naruto Chase figure. The angry man's eyes went wide open over his mask as I picked the pop and guided the young man to the desk, where he handed me the bills one by one. The angry man stood there shocked as the younger man was gushing about how hard to get that figure was and how he was getting it for half the price other places were asking, and in such perfect condition too. I couldn't have had a better reaction even if I paid him for it, lol. The young man completed his purchase and left as fast as he came. The angry man looked at me, almost as if accusing me of taking advantage of him. I just said, well, you got your money back, I'm happy you are happy, if you need anything else please let me know, and stay safe out there. The man just didn't have much else to say and left. Kind of a small and silly thing to feel good about, but 2020 hit us so hard that any unexpected profit was cause for celebration, so we celebrated that good sale with some instant ramen Naruto style. Change me from hourly to salary to cut my pay. Okay. This takes place in the before times when people could eat out and gather in large numbers. I used to work as a chef for an owner who liked to micromanage things and was a bit narcissistic. I'd been working there about 3 years, getting good reviews, customers loved me, updated the menu. Made everything from scratch. People used to think the place was open box/heat, serve food. Quality had gone up, morale was great in my kitchen. Annual sales went from $850,000 to $1.4 million, about maximum capacity for the space. The increase in sales and income went to the owner's head. He was always spending money on frivolous things and squandering cash. Sound system, stage for the event space, ECT. One example, I needed a new alto sham, a used one would have sufficed. Nope, bought the top of the line one that could be used as a smoker to $12,000 versus what I wanted could be gotten used for $1,500. Granted, I enjoyed that piece of equipment, which after I left they no longer used the smoker function. Years later I still occasionally get emails invoices from a vendor, and see they bring in pre-cooked smoked meats now. I was hourly, but then the owner realized during the busy season I and my sous chef put in 70 to 80 hour weeks. Doing this he realized I made more take-home pay from his business than he did. At peak times he'd maybe work 40 to 50 hours a week. So to save money he puts me and my sous on salary, effectively cutting my pay by about $10,000 a year. My sous netted a loss of $2,000 per year, if we were to work at our current level of effort. During all of this the owner is saying he is not expecting us to work over 40 hours a week, ever. He even has this written into our contracts. So with the extra time off at home with family it is okay, I still like the job and my staff. During the slower time this was great. Also during this time I had won a local award for my cooking, and the narcissistic owner was not too pleased. He was no longer recognized as the creative force in the kitchen that bears his name, so his meddling and micromanaging increased. It had gone from "it's your kitchen cop chef, do what you want to, it's my name, and my kitchen, do it this way." Morale and quality began to suffer. Just prior to the holiday season, my Sue wants to go back to his home country for 2.5 months, November, December and January peak crazy time for us. I have good help and am good with it. Owner approved the time off. Owner thinking I am gonna save him some dollar that holiday season by working my usual 70 to 80 hours a week. Nope, cue the malicious compliance. I start writing the holiday schedule. Sue is on vacation. I have my 40 during key prep times and peak business times. The rest of my staff gets serious overtime. Basically, the Sue and I carried a lot of the weight in the kitchen and could out perform most of our small staff. So with Sue on vacay, and I only pulling 40, full-time staff is now working 60-ish hours a week, and part-timers are getting 40. Things are running pretty smoothly until the owner realizes I'm not there like I always am during the holiday rush. He's in the kitchen more, trying to micromanage my staff, giving them poor advice, contradicting my directions, and timing for events, screwing up the small parties my staff could handle while I am off. After a few weeks of this, he realizes he's going to be paying the staff out more in overtime than he saved on moving me and my Sue to salary. He starts demanding I work more hours to stop hemorrhaging OT to the kitchen staff. I show him my contract where I am not expected to work over 40 hours a week. Now, he says it's just a guideline. I hold him to the 40 a week. It's Christmas, and now I can for once spend time with my family. Now with my Sue returning, I'm burned out from the constant micromanaging and gaslighting by the owner. I hand the reins to my Sue and change careers after 25 years in the industry and never look back. If you made it to the end of the video, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe and share, and we will see you in the next video.